How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I am super excited about this company today because honestly, I wasn't even going to do a video for this. This wasn't even on my radar until really recently. This is a company that had this announcement a while ago, but I don't think it's really gotten covered recently. This is a SPAC that I think there are two comparisons I'm thinking about. It is similar to the Palantir of sports betting. So if you know Palantir, they run big data analytics for a bunch of different organizations. This company reminds me of that. It also is kind of like a sleeper on the industry, kind of like ChargePoint was for EV, where it's working in the background. Just not too many people are thinking about it yet because a lot of people don't know the industry well. A lot of people just hadn't thought about it at the time that a lot of the EVs were exploding. ChargePoint hadn't, and then we brought attention to it, and then it exploded. This company kind of reminds me of that. And I'll be honest, I haven't taken a position in this company at the time of this recording. Maybe by the time that you see this, maybe I have. I have been investing in a lot of companies recently, but this is one that's catching my eye, and I still have to do more research on it. But someone told me about it in my Patreon group. Again, there's a link down to that if you want it down below. But this is a company that seems really interesting to me, and I am looking at investing, but I have not pulled the trigger yet. So if you guys like this, please leave a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. If you guys want to hit subscribe, I really appreciate that. We're growing like crazy. We're trying to give you the quickest information and the best information possible so you can make good informed decisions and do some of your own research on these companies in a timely manner to try to beat out other investors before they start jumping in. And if you want 4 free stocks through WeBull, you can definitely check out the link down below. Just deposit $100. It helps out the channel a lot, so I really appreciate that. So the company that we're looking at today, the ticker is DMYD. They are going to have this transaction in a $1.5 billion SPAC deal with a company called Genius Sports Group Limited. So this is, again, going to value the company at about $1.5 billion. The company maintains partnerships with over 500 sports organizations globally, including the NBA, NCAA, FIBA, FIFA, English Premier League, and NASCAR. This is something that is really interesting, and I want to take you through the investor presentation just for a second here to show you some of the highlights. So basically, their mission is to be the official data, technology, and commercial partner that powers the global ecosystem connecting sports betting and media. So again, they are trying to provide the highest quality data, deliver scalable and critical technology. They want to have these long-term, low-churn relationships. They want to be able to provide the data, analyze the data in a way that's very valuable. So again, I think this is in a very growing industry. So right now they are expecting a 29% revenue compounded annual growth rate. They've already done 240,000 sports betting events or sporting events that they've covered. They are partnered to sports leagues globally, and I'll explain a little bit more here in a second what it looks like, but right now you can see that they have it broken up between their different revenue sources. They have 11% of their revenue from sports, 74% of their revenue from data and streaming, and then 15% just from media such as like Caesars Entertainment, Bet America, and stuff like that. So they are using all these different statistics, all the different data to try to provide a good value. And they're kind of the go-between between these sporting events and the leagues and then the sports betting companies. So they share some of the profit. You can see here it matters to sports because it goes to the very heart of their funding. It matters to sports books because it is the official data that gives them security of the supplies that they need. It matters to regulators to protect consumers. It's the go-between. Now you can see here how well they've actually done, how many events that they've been able to cover. It's been increasing every year. Some of these are actually exclusive. So out of 2020, they're expecting 110,000 events that they exclusively cover. And again, you can kind of see that relationship here where sports leagues give them the right, and then they the right to analyze their data or have, whatever they decide to do on it. Then they give this to the sport books. They analyze it, send it over to them so that they don't really have to focus on the analytics quite as much. It's just a continuous relationship where they are able to grow pretty quickly. Again, you should do some of your own research on this too, but you can see how this is going to grow over time, how they expect the global sports betting market to grow over time. You can see that it goes from about 31 billion this year and pretty much doubles in the next 5 years. And there's a lot of different growth in Asia, in the Middle East, and just in everywhere else too. Honestly, it's a big compounded annual growth rate. You can see in the US we're expecting 31% growth rate. We're just starting to legalize this in a lot of states, but out of the possible 19 states, Genius is live in 10 and has submitted applications for 2. So you can kind of see how it's broken down, but they already have partnerships with these companies here. As I look into it more and more, it seems more and more interesting to me. Now you can see their revenue too. Their revenue is increasing pretty drastically. You can see that from 2018 to 2019, it went up significantly. From 2019 to 2020, they're expecting another huge jump, even with the sports betting being canceled for a while. And they're just going to continuously grow as more and more states legalize this, and as DraftKings and as LCA and as Fubo and all these other sports betting companies now can expand, they're going to expand also. You can see that they're expecting about a 29% annual growth rate from 2018 to 2021 or 2022. They're expecting EBITDA to also improve. Now again, you can kind of see their breakdown. The pro forma ownership will be about 17% for the investors that are buying the SPAC. Now, I don't necessarily dislike this. I like when the company actually wants to keep a majority of their book and of their ownership, because even though we don't have as many rights as investors, we also are seeing that they want to hold on to the shares because they really believe in the company. They're just looking for some cash injection. Now, they are trading at about 5.9x 2022 revenue, so this is pretty expensive, but as the industry grows, I really like it. I really think that it could do quite well. Again, if you missed out on Palantir and you want to get into something like that, or maybe you like the sports betting industry and you want to diversify or stay in the industry, but you don't want to bet with something like DraftKings or something like that, this company is selling at a price to sales ratio of maybe 11-ish or so right now, which is a lot lower than some other companies that are in the same sector. When you just look at Palantir, of course it is a different company, but they're sitting around a market cap of $53 billion, and their revenue is about $1 billion. So they're trading at a price to sales ratio around 53, which is very high comparatively. Now, of course, there are some risks to this company. There are all the normal risks of investing in SPACs. So do your own research. Make sure you're taking a look at it yourself. One thing that I do like, though, is that this is just at $11.52 right now. So it does prevent some downside risk because it hasn't really moved up that much yet. These SPACs typically don't go much higher, or much lower, I should say, than $10 a share. So there is some prevention from that. And you can see that starting to move up just over the last couple of weeks. We've seen it go up 14%, but it still hasn't really gone up parabolically like a lot of these other SPACs. So I think this should definitely be taken into consideration. Again, I might be investing. If you want to know exactly if I do invest and how much, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. If you want to see a video on 2 other SPACs that I've been buying, you can definitely check out this video here. Thank you for checking out WeBull, and I'll see you in this video. Bye.